going to be a video about Hemi sync continued from a video I did very recently regarding, well, let's talk about it after our brains are ready for information, but regarding making way for the left and right hemispheres of the brain to communicate without the left hemisphere of the brain relying subconsciously on its own systems of assessment, categorization, leaving a lot of gray area or unused cerebral area unchecked by the right that might have a different idea, okay? So if you want to review, I'm going to do a mini review after this, but as many times as I can remember, we're going to start with 10 inhales and exhales, arms above the head, if that's available, if it serves. If this is not comfortable, don't do it. If this is comfortable, do it. 10 inhales, please, to the belly, so the belly gets big and the shoulders stay soft. Through the nose, we breathe in. Through the mouth, or if you know Ujjayi Pranayama, breathe out. I think it's better if I scooch over. Okay, so try to breathe in and slow down the air. You're breathing into the nose, so inhale. But not, that wasn't a good example, sorry. I was like thinking to do one thing. That's what happens when we're not in, our minds are in one place. My body's here wanting to breathe, my mind wanted to change this, yeah? So inhaling is going to be through the nose, and we're going to send the air to the belly. Softy shoulders, loosey-goosey. Exhale, out of the mouth if you're not familiar with Ujjayi, which is like this. If you're exhaling out of the mouth, just your lips sealed. 10 deep inhales and complete exhales with the intention of clearing and calming the mind to receive beneficial information to make us stronger with increased focus, concentration, and a lot of other superpowers. Once you've completed your 10 inhales and exhales, please open your mind and your eyes as well if you wish. So we're kind of picking up where we left off. There's something important that I wanted to add. It's going to be another video, but yoga, the system of yoga. Yoga is a system designed to liberate you from your thinking mind. It's not up or down, upward dog, downward dog. Okay, so getting into Kundalini yoga, if you're not familiar with Kundalini yoga, it is under the umbrella of Hatha, yoga, which equals also Raja, but Hatha as defined by the Hatha Yoga Pradipika is breath plus movement. So under that umbrella word is Raja Yoga, one of the four main paths to Samastiti, to enlightenment. Raja is royal yoga. So under Raja Yoga is Ashtanga Vinyasa Yoga, is from that comes Power Yoga, is Kundalini Yoga, is any yoga that is breath plus movement. Okay? I feel like if I move one way, I look a little different. Okay. So, get your pens and your pencils out. Just kidding. So they talk about hypnosis we went over yesterday. This comes from a CIA document that was released, approved for release, regarding the gateway experience, which is defined as a training system. This is what the gateway experience is defined as. Gateway experience is used by the Army. Actually, this is a Department of the Army, and the intelligence sector that's using this information is USA INSCOM. That acronym is United States Army Intelligence Security Command. Super vague. They've got 17,500 soldiers located in 180 locations in 45 countries. I made a joke with my friend Denise. I wonder how many of those people know that they are soldiers. The Gateway experience is defined as a training system designed to bring enhanced strength, focus, and coherence to the amplitude and frequency of brainwave output between the left and the right hemispheres, so as to alter consciousness, moving it outside the physical sphere, so as to ultimately escape even the restrictions of time and space, which equals access to the various levels of intuitive knowledge that the universe offers. So, in sum, if you guys want to see the movie Men and Goats, Men That Stare at Goats, that's a good one. But the Army recognizes that there are ways to travel astrally, or whatever you want to call it. Some of us, I think, are more inclined to this kind of thing than others, and blood type has shown different, like, apparently, I was watching some Florbrun, Fluerbrun. She has a channel on YouTube, and she talks about how the government likes people with B, like if you have B blood, your blood is like B negative or minus, because of the way, like, the hemispheres are even more separated. They did a test on twins with blood type B positive and negative, and basically maternal twins, you can, like, it's horrible that they do this shit, but they traumatize the fuck out of one of the twins, which trauma goes in the left side, right? It's emotion, stuff like that, and the left side of the brain, and the left side of the brain communicates a lot of things to the other twin, but it does not communicate trauma. Twins of other blood types will communicate stuff like that. So, to preamble getting any further here, I see this as everything that I approach, it's like an intuitive sort of thing. I see this as, well, before I explain that, another thing, a lot of these tests came out of World War II and stuff, about the right and the left side of the brain and the twins and the trauma that, like, blood type people tend to hold the trauma in, like they don't even telepathically share it with their twins, or the brain doesn't, whereas blood type A positive, stuff like that, A positive is the closest, from what I understand, the closest to like Earth's vibration. So to preamble all this, my approach to all this, from what I have had, from the very reliable sources I've extrapolated this theory that I'm delving into with you guys. I'm learning, so anything you guys know, I want to know. I feel like it's, oh yeah, this is what I meant to say. All those studies happened in World War II in like Auschwitz and shit. And apparently before World War II, there wasn't a B blood type. What's that about? Anyway, my feeling tells me that at some point, however long ago, maybe both of our hemispheres were connected by this third eye. I mentioned like a Simpsons type eye. I can kind of feel it right now. That came through, or some kind of ligament structure that was between the two hemispheres and connected them. And whether by or natural reasons, or like some kind of like or fluoride, like I said, like over time and generations, like wilting down the third eye, or whatever the organ was that was between the two hemispheres that would allow them to communicate with freedom, instead of the left being like the gatekeeper. And the issue with the left side being the gatekeeper is it's too emotional. And it's systems of assessment, categorization of intake, which the right hemisphere does not question, is founded of like, you know, the bullshit we grew up with, the lies and the predictive programming and the, you know, the stories, or, you know, our histories. You know, we have to separate ourselves from that, I think, in this period of time. So my idea is, for whatever reason, or what I'm going into this, my hypothesis, if you will, is that both hemispheres had an organ in between that was something like an eye, or like a, you know, an organ that was like a referee. Because right now what happens is that the left side of the brain takes in everything and the right side doesn't question it. So all of these tactics, all of these, they're using them as tactics, the army is, but they are spiritual practices, are ways to hypnosis, meditation, Kundalini yoga, which I'm going to get into, are ways to put the left side, basically roofie the left side of your brain, so we can suggest and put things into the right, because the right doesn't question. Okay? So, just so you know where I'm coming from. Just so you know. So they talk about the Kundalini, what I'm also doing, besides learning with you guys, is giving you tools. Start to be aware as often as you can, once a minute it says, somewhere in this document, of your breath and the soul energy and the source of all that is, I guess, running from your toes to the top of your head and back down. You can do a golden shaft of light. I like that one. Kundalini yoga, psychosis, or transcendence, states that the standing acoustal waves, remember, sound is everything. The standing acoustal waves are the result of the altered rhythm of the heart sounds, which are occasioned by prolonged practice of meditation, and which set up sympathetic vibrations in the walls of the fluid-filled cavities, which compromise the third and lateral ventricles of the brain. In addition, according to Bentov, the states of bliss described by those whose Kundalini symptoms have completed the full loop along the hemisphere may be explained as a self-stimulation of the pleasure centers in the brain caused by circulation of a current along the sensory cortex. That most people describe symptoms start on the left side of the body means that this is mostly a development occurring in the right hemisphere. Remember, right hemisphere controls left side of the body, left hemisphere controls right. Although normally a period of meditation involving intense concentration and practices for 5 years or some required to quote unquote bring up the Kundalini. Kundalini is an energy at the base of your spine. Bentov states that the exposure to mechanical or acoustic vibrations in the range of 4 to 7 hertz cycles per second for protracted periods may achieve the same effect. Bentov cites as an example repeated riding in a car whose suspension and seat combination produce the range of vibrations, or being exposed for long periods of time. These frequencies caused, for instance, by an air conditioning duct. He also notes that the cumulative effect of these vibrations may be able to trigger a spontaneous physio-kundalini sequence in susceptible people who have a particularly sensitive nervous system. Okay, gateway and hemisync. Now that we have briefly profiled the basic mechanics of the principal techniques for altering or expanding consciousness, which share some of the objectives and or methods employed in the gateway experience, we proceed to focus on what that technique actually involves. Fundamentally, the gateway experience is a training system designed to bring enhanced strength, focus, and coherence to the amplitude and frequency of brainwave output between the left and the right hemispheres so as to alter consciousness, moving it outside the physical sphere so as to ultimately escape even the restrictions of time and space. The participant then gains access to various levels of intuitive knowledge which the universe offers. Various levels of intuitive knowledge which the universe offers. What differentiates the gateway experience from forms of meditation is its use of the Hemi-Sync technique, which is defined in monograph by the Monroe Institute. Note to self, look up Monroe Institute. Trainer Melissa Jager says, a state of consciousness defined when the EEG patterns of both hemispheres are simultaneously equal. I feel like that should be our state. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I could definitely be wrong. A state of consciousness defined when the EEG patterns of both hemispheres are simultaneously equal in amplitude and frequency. Although Hemi-Sync seems to be rather rare and of only short duration in ordinary human consciousness, Melissa Jager states, audio techniques developed by Bob Monroe can induce this and sustain Hemi-Sync with the Institute's basic Focus 3 tapes. She also notes that studies conducted by Elmer and Alice Green at the Menninger Foundation have shown that a subject with 20 years or more of training in Zen meditation could consistently establish Hemi-Sync at will. Your brain changes after 8 years of meditation, daily meditation. Woo! You got a foot up there if you've been meditating for longer than 15 years. This focusing of energy is not unlike the yoga concept of one-pointedness, dhyana, which we translate in Western terms as single-mindedness. Remember, the entrance into meditation is focus and concentration on one thing and one thing only. Dr. Twemlow goes on to observe that as the individual gets into the tapes, I don't know about these tapes, so until I find out about them, we ain't gonna talk about them. The human brain is exposed to one frequency in the left ear and is 10 hertz below another audible frequency played in the right ear. Rather than hearing either of the two audible frequencies, the brain chooses to hear the difference between them, the beat frequency, thus availing itself to the FFR phenomenon. And using the techniques of the beat frequencies, the gateway system uses Hemi sync and other audio techniques employing the FFR phenomenon to induce a variety of frequencies which are played at a virtually subliminal, marginally audible level. The objective is to relax the left hemisphere of the brain, place the physical body in a virtual sleep state, and bring the left and right hemisphere into coherence under conditions designed to promote the production of even higher amplitude and frequency of brainwave output. Okay? I need to order my pizza, but I'm going to finish this paragraph. Audible and perhaps subliminal suggestions by Bob Monroe. Who the fuck is Bob Monroe? Accompany the various brainwave frequencies which are sometimes rolled in together with other sounds such as sea surf to mask the sound of the frequencies where desirable. Sounds like a fucking racket to me. This is how they water down stuff that's good or use it for bad things. In every good thing, there's usually a covert entity of dreck. That's a Yiddish word. Shit. Underneath. I found in most things, even every word, not every word, a lot of words, there's an overt and a covert meaning. I'm going to order my pizza now. We'll talk about this later. Talk amongst yourselves.